Today I want to talk about an awesome vintage inspired watch that is under $130. Welcome back, my little subscribers. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I am not just a camera gear nerd and a music enthusiast. I am also a watch addict. And by that, I mean, I just love watches. I love what they represent when they're giving in special moments to remember. When they're passed on from one family member to another, they end up being little pieces of history for a lot of people. And I just love the geometry, the design behind all these things. And if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I love all kinds of watches, regardless of how expensive they are, because at the end of the day, the only one that the watch that should matter to is the one who's wearing it. You should ignore and not care. Don't let yourself be influenced by what other people say is good or not. You have to be the one to make that decision for yourself and be proud to wear what you have. So in today's example, I want to talk about a watch that I was really excited to try out. This is not an expensive watch. This was from Aliexpress. There's one of those companies, there's a bunch of those that are just making watches left and right. A lot of them are homages to like Rolex Submariners and Tudors and all this stuff. I wanted something different, and there's a market full of options. And this one I'm happy to present to you is from a company called Merkur. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's called Merkur. They have a subline called Pierre Paulin. Pierre Paulin. I guess they wanted to make it sound French, but for good reason. They are vintage inspired and they have a lot of class. So I can see like the Frenchy vibe that they wanted to give to this brand. This is actually a Salmon Dial, sector dial style from the 1930s that has been remade into a 36 millimeter, 20 millimeter lug. Very nice. I think it's a 44, 45 lug to lug. So it's very wearable, very classic. It's all brushed steel. Nothing is polished aside from the actual crown. And it has the imitated blue hands. So I don't think they are blued hands like in the traditional sense. They might just have put some other material that has blue as the hands. Nonetheless, it has all this 1930s styling cues with that awesome coppery salmon dial that has a sunburst radial style brushing. So it's very attractive. And it's manual, or like we say, mechanical movement. So you do have to wind it. And when you wind it, it's actually very pleasing to wind. I know there's a lot of watches out there that are made very, very cheap, and you could tell right away when you're winding it. And this one has a very nice gear sound, and it will stop once you get to the maximum wind. And the time, it'll probably be a couple hours. Maybe I think it's around 40 hours of power reserve. When I got this watch, I wore it straight for a week and a half because of how much I enjoyed wearing it. One of the things I will say I enjoy a lot is the simplicity to the dial. There's something awesome about these vintage sector style dials with the sub-second, so as the small seconds at 6 o'clock, that makes it really attractive and classic to wear. Now, I will say the strap that it came with wasn't totally cheap. It was a suede gray. I just didn't like it. And I have so many other straps that you could put a very nice strap for not too much money, like a blue one. In my case, I put a stitched woven styled bracelet from one of my favorites, very small brands called Weltman. They make a nice woven strap that is fabric, and it reminds you of like a tapestry or like a rug pattern. So this one is very attractive now, and I think it makes the dial stand out. And it's just very wearable, easy to just wear with any outfit, dress up, dress down. Very awesome watch. Now, when it comes to time accuracy, I know this could be an issue for a lot of people who are obsessed with the times and the movements inside a watch. I'm happy to say that this manual movement is really, really good. I wore it for a week and a half straight, and I didn't lose a lot of time. Obviously, I didn't make it scientific. I didn't record it by the second, but it was at or really, really close to the minute that I had already originally set it at when I first started winding it. So these manual movements are really accurate, and you wouldn't have to worry about losing time. You know what I mean? And this one's not, oh, there we go. That's the fully wound. When you get, this is just a tip, when you have a mechanical watch like this, you don't want to force it beyond that point. So you have to kind of, you have to wind it, but not with too much force, so that once you hit that point, you feel the resistance and you stop. Otherwise, you'll screw up the movement. But now that it's maximum wound, it's good to go for 40 hours. Another reason this is an awesome watch is that you can get into this. I mean, you can find a vintage watch with this style or a modernly made one like from Longines. You're gonna pay a lot of money, and if it's a vintage one, you run the risk of it breaking and, you know, all that sort of thing that comes around with maintenance of a watch. This is brand new and very affordable, which kind of makes it replaceable. And I hate to say that because of the price, but let's say it did break, it doesn't hurt me to take it to a jeweler and get it fixed for cheap. Or if it's really, really broken and they can't do anything, to just get a new one, because the price and the time it's going to last me is actually pretty decent. And I mean, this is a short-term review, first impressions basically, but I will come back to tell you maybe a year or two from now how it's performing. But as of now, I don't see any issues with it. Now, what I do want to talk about is you do have to shop and be smart with these brands, because a lot of them do have quality control issues. I didn't experience it with this model, so to say, but when I ordered this one, I ordered a different model just to try it out. That one was not mechanical, it was automatic, and it broke on me within a couple of days. It was stopping, it wasn't keeping time. So it may have to do with the movement. I mean, the movement is the workhorse heartbeat of a watch. I think this mechanical movement is just a lot better than that automatic movement. So just be smart when you're purchasing and make sure that if there is something wrong, that you can get your money back. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, I just wanted to talk about this watch that I discovered that is relatively affordable, and I am proud to wear this. It is so classic and attractive. Whenever I look at my wrist and I'm wearing this, it makes me smile because I can see the attention to detail that went into making this. Not just the case and, you know, making it at a good strap width 20, which is universal, but also the crystal being domed. So I don't think it's sapphire crystal, but nonetheless, it's a nice either plexi or mineral. It's domed, so it definitely hits that vintage vibe. This is what you would see in a watch from the 1930s up till like 1960s. A lot of domed glass on watches. So I just want to point out right now, you can find this watch for $115. So I paid about $120, $130, but the price fluctuates a lot depending on how they put their promotions. Regardless, what you're getting here to me is a lot more unique and special than, you know, buying a much more expensive brand like a Bulova or a Movado. This is a lot more unique in my opinion. So highly recommend. And like I said, if there are issues with it, you can always get your money back. Just be sure that where you're buying it from online is reputable. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the B-roll.